Hi, my name is Syed Jafri. I'm certified in ICA, International Compliance Association, certified in CISI. I have decades of industry experience, worked with HSBC, State Street and Northern Trust. Today we will be talking about the global banking industry and why someone should look to work in the particular industry. When I say global banking industry, this does not include only the banking roles. I'm talking about investment banks, I'm talking about custodian banks, I'm talking about the fund administrators. And most of the offshore business which we have in India right now, let it be JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Blackstone, BlackRock, SS&C, State Street, Northern Trust, these all fall into the criteria of either Fortune 500 companies or the global banks. Back in 2016, when I started working with Northern Trust, I had no clue, absolutely no clue about the Northern Trust, about the industry in which I'm going to work, and I was blessed to be hired by Northern Trust. But what does Northern Trust do? There are a lot of professionals who are working with Northern Trust, but the main revenue of the Northern Trust is Northern Trust charges custody fee. So Northern Trust is a world leading custodian. Along with that, Northern Trust also offers outsourced services. There is a separate legal entity which is NTAM. Northern Trust Asset Management. Being as a custodian, you cannot advise on the asset management. Therefore, Northern Trust Asset Management is a separate legal entity. But I had no clue about these all informations because I was not prepared being in my BCom. Therefore, if you really want to work into this industry, or you want to work with the world best investment banks, custodian banks, fund administrators, you need to understand that there are pros and there are cons. When I say pros, the perks which they offer, the compensation which they offer, the learning opportunities which we get, the opportunities to connect with diversified background professionals, to work with the different location professionals are immense in this particular industry. When I say cons, as Northern Trust is not from India, we need to work based on their shift timings. And recently I have seen a shift in the mindset of the professionals. They are like, we are not comfortable with the night shift. So we need to understand one thing. When we are saying we are not comfortable with the night shift, we do not have global banks operating out of India, having their front office in India. They have their front offices either in US or UK or Singapore, Hong Kong or those areas. And we need to adhere as per their timings. If you really want to work in this industry, you need to know what you need to prepare, what all perks you will be getting, such as these all global banks, they have transportation facilities mandatory. They provide either one-way transportation or two-way transportations based on your shift timings. They offer food allowances. They offer health insurance. They offer term insurance. They sponsor your education. Let's say if you want to do CISI, Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment London, certification is Investment Operation Certificate. If you want to do this certification, they sponsor that, they reimburse that. If you want to do CFA, they reimburse that. If you're working into the accounting domain, if you want to do ACCA, they reimburse the fee or they sponsor the fee. So you get immense opportunities. Now the question comes, how do we enter into this industry? Let me make some space here. Now the question is, how do we enter into this industry? What are the areas which we should look? What are the certifications which can help us to be part of this industry? So I'll be absolutely blunt in this conversation. Being as a BCom professional aspirant or being as a MBA finance student, we always want to work in the industry, but when it comes to acquiring required skills, we do not focus on the basics. So when I say basics, we should be familiar with the financial products and contracts. When I say financial products and contracts, this includes your equities, fixed income, money market, foreign exchange, derivatives, alternative investment. These are the basic expectations. Then their impact into different verticals, such as corporate actions, along with corporate actions, the accounting treatment of each. When I say accounting treatment, let's say there is a dividend declared. On the announcement date, we need to book accrual. On the record date, what will be the impact of that in the books? On the X date, what will be the impact of that in the books? And on the pay date, what will be the impact of that in the books? So we need to understand if there is an payment, if there is a subscription, if there is a redemption, can we pass a normal journal entry for that? I have seen a lot of students struggling to pass even a single journal entries. They don't understand the impact of basics. They look for the advanced, they go for the financial modeling, business valuations, but when we ask them the basic questions, they struggle in that. Now, talking from the certification point of view or technological areas, Excel is something which you should know, because in our industry, most of the time, even now, 90% of the work is done on Excel. Along with Excel, it is good to have VBAs because you can help in the automation. Python is picking up. Now, talking from this curriculum point of view, is there a certification which covers as per the industry standard, as per the industry requirement? So my answer is yes. I'm talking about CISI, Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment, London. They have a certification called as Investment Operations Certificate. This certification constitutes 3 modules. You need to clear these 3 levels. Level 1 is Introduction to International Securities and Investment. Level 2 is Global Securities Operation. And level 3 is Operational Risk. This talks about middle office functions, this talks about back office functions, this talks about financial participants, financial products, financial contracts, this talks about corporate actions, impact of corporate action, this talks about trade life cycle, reconciliation, settlement, whatever you need to know to work in this particular industry. If you're still curious and you want to know more about this, we are just a call away. We at FPA, we train professionals for CISI and we assist for the placement also.